He killed Ash the first episode. All of it.
You're one of those people.
All of it.
Welcome back to the Variety Voiceover. This week, two geeks get in tune with their emotions. But first, I am your host, Camden Parsons, here with my co-host.
Oh, Derek Yardovic.
How you doing, Derek?
I'm doing good.
You're doing
I'm
what?
I'm doing good.
You're doing good.
I'm doing good.
Sounds delightful.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty great, both together.
Yeah, blah.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I've heard that sound semi-recently. I'm joking.
Yeah. I tried to hold back the sound.
So, that's what she said. We're off to a great start.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 12. Very excited. We just had our first guest on last week, but we're back to the status quo.
Yeah.
I also, I just uploaded a video on Comeback Kid Films this past week.
You sure did.
If anyone is interested. This DC, I think I've talked on here before, haven't I?
I think you had a little bit of a
I think I did actually, because I think I talked about it on the episode of when I challenged you for Batman Year 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made a video of that DC high volume show that I had found for the show, and I made the whole thing over the course of like 4 or 5 hours, and considering, I think it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to tell that you pretty much winged it, but
Would winged be the past tense of wing? Wung?
Wong it?
I don't know.
Maybe. Winged, wong.
In the past, wing it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. That's someone much smarter than me can figure that out. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on it?
It was a good video. Yeah, I think that there's a good point that you had when it comes down to like the future of Audible comic books and those being pretty much it. I mean, now paperback books have audiobooks. They have a lot of those forms of, other ways to listen to it, especially when you're out and about and doing things.
Yeah.
While these comic books, obviously you want the action of it. It's a comic book. You kind of look at it for the pictures too. And as it goes, that level of immersion you really can't get through an audiobook. But with these new ones, I mean, you can to a point.
Yeah.
But
there's different levels.
Not from what you want to get from a comic book. I
think that's kind of the point, though, with these like audio dramas is that the production is what makes the difference. You're right. You could just listen to an audiobook.
Yeah.
For that matter, you could just read the book.
Yep.
I think the difference is with these audio dramas is it does a lot of heavy lifting for you, where it's like a movie. Like, you can be told a story for a movie and picture the whole thing in your head.
Right.
But the point of like a visual medium is that they use that medium to their advantage. You're watching a movie because you want to watch a movie.
Right.
I think that's the same thing. Is a lot more depth with the audio drama, that they're using that medium to its full. Like I said, it really is as simple as you could just read it.
Right.
But the point of an audio drama is it's in depth. It does a lot of that. You don't have to imagine it. It's like, I mean, I guess you kind of do have to imagine it because it's all auditory. But like, it's not like he stepped out into the rain and to his left he saw a man.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's raining.
Yeah.
And then, hey, I'm a man and I'm to your left, or some shit like that. Like something.
Is this Captain America?
On your left.
But no, I completely agree. I haven't listened to many of those. Many of them being zero. I haven't listened to them at all. But
So you listened to my video and then you went home and you watched it.
Yeah.
And the point of this video was, hey, go watch this thing. And then you were like, okay, no.
I had other things I needed to do.
Like what? I don't like that look. You're at work all the time. You do the same thing that I do. You can throw in an earbud and listen to. What do you listen to? Creepcast in the meantime? Oh,
Yeah.
By the way, I'm about halfway done through Baraska 5.
Yeah.
They are taking it a lot more seriously than I would have expected.
Nope. Just wait.
I'm sure, because
Yeah.
the story itself does
Yeah.
too. But it's just like, it's crazy that, like, if this was any other story, they'd be like,
What, the Sigma?
what? Yeah, that's exactly it. I have heard both Wendigoon and Papa Meat say, what the Sigma.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baraska, and to put on a tangent for a second, Baraska is probably one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, it's my second favorite creepypasta
of all time. Yeah, like I think it's my number one.
And that's valid. I think my favorite is definitely Pen Pal, but that's I think a lot of nostalgia into that too, as well as just I like the concept a lot more.
You said yours was Jeff the Killer.
I never don't you dare. I never even liked Jeff the Killer when like it was cool to like Jeff the Killer.
That's just a lie.
I say quote unquote. I never liked Jeff the Killer. Or it was never cool to like Jeff the Killer.
Yeah, no, you literally told me earlier today.
No, I didn't. You don't gaslight the audience. I don't.
No, I understand that you told me not to talk about it on the podcast.
What are you? No, I did not. What are you talking about right now?
Cameron, we already know you like to lie. Why are you lying now?
Okay. Oh, damn. I put myself. This is just like the incident with Mr. Whitehead.
But, it's okay. You can like Jeff the Killer.
I swear, I do not like Jeff the Killer.
It's a solid.
No, it's not. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Okay. Enough gaslighting you.
Bleach. They put bleach on me and stuff. Good gravy, dude. Jeff the dude. Okay. Okay. No, you started something. Jeff the Killer is one of the worst things. Period. And to me, the only interesting thing about Jeff the Killer is the hunt for the original image. Are you familiar with that at all?
Yeah.
It's one of like the biggest mysteries on the internet right now. No one can seem to find out what the original unaltered picture of Jeff the Killer is. Yeah. There's some rabbit holes and things like that. I love that. I think that's great. I love mysteries. I love internet mysteries. I love learning about it. I think that's super cool.
I think that's one of the best things about creepypastas.
Oh yeah. When you can incorporate stuff like that too. Yeah. That's the only good thing about Jeff the Killer. Honestly, I think the picture itself looks kind of dumb. I won't lie to you. It did freak me out really bad when I was a kid, though, but I was also 10, so.
It's weird how you change your story after we got on live. It's weird. Like, we didn't have a conversation.
You make me want to roll a 5.
Oh.
No, I like Pen Pal. I like Pen Pal a lot. I really like the stories that take place from like a kid perspective, because I feel like, to me, what makes horror scary is the ability to not do anything about it. I think that's part of the reason that Baraska 5 is so, I don't want to say bad, but it's not as good as the original.
It's a redemption arc.
But to me, it's not scary. Because what makes Baraska scary is the fact that these are kids / young adults that can't do anything about what's going on. They go to Baraska, to get this sorted out, and then one of them gets beaten to near death, and the other one barely escapes with his life. I think part of what made it so scary is that there's this huge thing that was terrifying and terrorizing, and they couldn't do a thing about it.
Yeah, I think there was definitely a big turnaround at the end of it, but I like, in my opinion, Baraska was very interesting to me because of like the mysterious elements at the beginning of it.
That almost put you on another train.
Yeah, it was like a shiny gentleman. It was actually
skin men.
Skin men.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt more of like a mythical thing.
Yeah.
And then that turn of like, no, these are human beings and they're monsters.
I think that's part of what makes Baraska so good is that, we'll put a spoiler / trigger warning here. I don't want to go too into depth of what happened in the story, but just, we're tiptoeing around it, so just in case. I think part of what makes that story so good as well, and same reason I like Pen Pal so much, is that these are realistic stories.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously dramatized because they're internet horror stories. Like, what are the odds that something like that could actually happen?
Yeah.
But between that and like,
it's not zero.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the worst possible thing of something that could happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's a nightmare people live to
and
this
same
day.
thing with Pen Pal. Part of the reason I like Pen Pal so much is that same kind of concept of, there's not really anything that, because throughout the whole story, I don't think the kid in Pen Pal grows up until like the end, right? Like, he obviously it's told from like he's an adult version telling this story.
Yeah.
But as far as like in the story, he's, I think, at the latest 16, 17. It all happens from a kid perspective, and you never get to find out who the guy is.
Yep.
And I think that, to me, was what makes it most scary, is that there's nothing he can do about it. He's unaware, and we as audience members can tell these horrifying things that are happening to him, but because he's a child, none of those pieces are clicking together for him. And I think that to me is what I like. That's part of the reason I like Baraska a lot too. Is that they're not kids throughout the entire thing,
right?
But like they do a lot of build up during that with the triple tree, where it's like you're right. The whole urban legend thing is, because the creepypasta they set it up in a way where like you could believe maybe it's these skin men, whatever,
right?
But it's set up in a way that like these are kids who are believing these urban legends that have been spread this whole time. Total left turn from what comes later.
Yeah. And that I think that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about the story in general was just like that fictional aspect of it, just like that I don't know, childhood ignorance that comes into those kind of things where it's like these could be monsters in the woods.
Like in Pen Pal, there's a part where they hear a camera shattering or not shattering, like clicking, shuddering. Excuse me, is what I was looking for. And not the main character, but his friend. I can't remember the friend's name. He's like, there's a robot in the woods. Yeah, they're kids. They don't know better. If we hear like, oh, that's a camera.
That's a camera.
But like they're kids. Oh God, did you hear that? There's a robot in the woods.
Yeah.
Because of course you think there's a robot in the woods. You're a dumb kid, and now you're gonna get murdered.
Yep.
But yeah, I love those. Are my favorites. Those two are probably my favorite, and I also really like 1999 for the same reason. Yeah. But I'm also a lot less keen on 1999 because I think it's a really good concept.
Yeah.
That wasn't done to the best degree, and I don't like the ending of it. Kind of feels like a cop out of like. I love the mystery of like why would someone do this? Of like set up their own like broadcast station from their basement where they like kidnap children. Like what?
Yeah.
Oh, he's actually a Satanist. That's such an easy out as far as like storytelling goes. But aside from that, I like 1999 a lot. I actually like Pen Pal so much. When I listened to the original Creepcast episode, as I was getting into them, all the time they'll promote these stories. If the author has like an actual like book out or something like that, published author, they'll promote it. And that's why I found out Pen Pal has a published book. I went and bought the book for Pen Pal.
That's
I have
awesome.
it downstairs. Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But yeah, that's a big.
I played it off pretty well, I think, but that was a stutter, dude. I did not mean to do that.
No, that's okay. I didn't mean to make fun of you.
No, it's okay. It was really funny.
But yeah, that was a little bit of a tangent off of what we thought about.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about my video a little bit and promote it. We're gonna talk about creepy bosses instead. But that's actually so welcome. I love it. And that's one thing too, is like I said, we talked briefly before about our plans for like horror stuff goes on the channel. And I think that I would not mind retouching that again, with that. But like I said, I'd like to, we're definitely going to dedicate some time to it in like October for sure.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to do like a creepy cast.
We're not going to call it that.
Not creepy cast. We're going to do like a creepy, Halloween kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe we'll call it the Variety Voiceover Spookcast.
Oh,
if you poop your pants, you have to Venmo us $10.
Woo!
But yeah, a fun topic. I'd love to touch on that more eventually. We just actually, quick aside again, sorry.
Yeah.
We just a couple nights ago watched a horror movie.
Yeah, we did. It was terrible.
It was called Clown. And what caught me so off guard, do you remember both the two credits that I saw that I pointed out? Because one of them, first of all, was directed by John Watts.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who directed the 3 MCU Spider-Man movies, the Home trilogy.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't tell that based on that movie.
No,
in all fairness, that one came out, I think it's 2014, and Spider-Man Homecoming came out in 2017. So there's a gap there, but like
a little bit, not much.
Yeah, he definitely learned a lot.
He did a lot of soul searching for sure.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
The movie wasn't. No, I can't say that. The movie was terrible.
It was pretty bad.
But
that was kind of the point. We wanted to find a crappy one we could dump on.
It was. I mean, it was an enjoyable experience because like scary movies as an adult aren't always like scary because like if
I agree.
You don't know,
especially slashers. You can get away with a cheap jump scare here and there, but the most they're not scary. It's just abrupt. Like, huh. Yeah, and then you're good. You're fine.
Yeah, but we made fun of the video or made fun of the movie the whole time.
Yeah,
like we just little
was
clips
one point,
here.
We watched it kind of late, and I had fallen asleep for like maybe 10 minutes during the movie, and I woke up. And no one realized I had woken up. I didn't even realize I had fallen asleep.
Yeah,
so
it's
just out of nowhere. Whoa, this kind of reminds me of Fortnite.
Yep.
Right after you guys had just heard me snoring.
Yep. we and then you try to play it off like you weren't just sleeping, and we saw you like mouth agape. You're like,
I always
Snoring.
played that with my eyes closed and my mouth agape. Have you never seen that before?
no, we take advantage of it frequently.
What?
What? No.
This is
You signed a
this
contract.
is a PG
You know it.
Christian Minecraft server.
Yeah. Speaking of Minecraft, we beat the Ender Dragon.
Oh yeah, we did. We beat the Ender Dragon.
We have a little.
We're all over the place. In this episode.
We absolutely.
Welcome to variety voiceover.
Yeah. The ADHD kind of thing.
The ADD.
ADHD.
Now who's got a stutter? Ha ha ha! Now it's my turn.
Oh, but it's just you just brought up Minecraft and I.
Yeah.
Like,
We've been on this big kick for the last couple weeks or so, where we've been playing fairly consistently, like
Almost
2 or
every
3
night.
times a week. Yeah, I should say at least. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there was at one point.
We
It
did-
seems
we-
like we're kind of slowing down a little bit now, but
Yeah, we got the elytras and stuff like that. and
Yeah.
There's a lot of build stuff that I want to get done, but like I just bought a new controller.
oh yeah, you talking about that?
It's so good.
This guy hassled employees at Target just to get a discount for something that wasn't even supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's kind of on them.
Well, no, you gotta tell it now. You can't just be like, "Well, it was on them."
Okay, so they did a reset for their game stuff, and they had like 5 of them. No, 4 controllers on this one peg. Okay, all of them had the same price, which wasn't that far off. I mean, it was like $70 difference. I was like, I'm sorry, but that was a different price on the shelf. I want it for that place. That's pretty much it.
That says a riveting story.
Yeah, no, it just
Someone
someone messed up and
yeah,
made $70 off of it.
You
Basically,
hassled them.
I didn't hassle.
You hassled them.
I
You're like,
I said,
want the price on the shelf. I remember when you told me that story. You said something about throwing on the word "dirty bastard." You were like, give me the price on
Yeah.
the shelf, or I'll kill you, you dirty bastard. Or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
But
yeah.
Jeff the Killer's your favorite.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. All right, would you like to get into the actual topic?
Yeah, but
Okay.
we're just gonna have to rename this episode "Gaslighting 101."
All right, so my idea for this episode: how familiar are you with the Lantern Corps in DC Comics?
See, the thing is with comic books and superheroes,
Yeah.
one of my main introductions to them was the Green Lantern.
The movie.
The movie I enjoyed. Okay,
Oh,
I know we
no.
talk about it. I know this has been said.
No.
Don't say "oh no" like this is the first time
No,
you're hearing
right. I
that.
forgot about it, and now I'm.
I
Going through
enjoyed the
withdrawal.
movie. I
Oh,
enjoyed the
no.
movie. Okay, now to put more perspective on that,
Yeah.
I like.
perspective.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. I like the Green Lantern as a superhero. I like the idea of
I love
constructs.
the concept. I think that he is so underutilized.
I agree, but that was also when DC movies were shit. No matter what. I mean, when you're talking about Marvel versus DC, everyone goes to the Marvel movies for their superhero movies. The DC, you had like the Aquaman that was kind of lackluster. and
Aquaman
you had
was one of the better ones.
exactly, and it was still lackluster.
I think DC's big problem is
You could do it again.
publicity. Damn. Because these movies are what the mainstream audience is going to think about these characters, which is why people still love Batman so much.
Yeah.
You see it right now with all this discourse about James Gunn's new Superman movie coming out, where there are a lot of people who are like, "This is stupid. This is not right. Superman needs to be dark and gritty and snap necks," because they watched the Snyder movies and they were like, "That's a good fella right there."
Well,
But I think that the problem is, so many of their movies are terrible that it made people start to think that DC is terrible. But DC is awesome.
DC is wonderful. DC as a publishing company is wonderful. I love their superheroes. I love a lot of the things that they go with it. The new age movies
But it's just the movies.
are shit.
Well, I don't even want to say that, because I want to say, like, they have a lot of really good animated movies. But the thing is, the hard thing with that too is that they're not all consistently bad. Like, yeah, you had Green Lantern, but then I think that was what, 2009, 2010 maybe. Right after that, you had The Dark Knight Returns,
Bad movie.
and right before that, you had The Dark Knight.
Bad movie.
Or no, excuse me, Dark Knight Rises. I agree, but no, I want to see. Okay, I'll tell you what. I've never seen Dark Knight Rises. It's the last of the trilogy I haven't seen. But The Dark Knight's not necessarily a bad movie. I do think that they're criminally overrated.
Yeah.
But a bad movie, no, by any means.
No. I was kind of joking a little bit. They're not bad movies, but like when we talk about superhero movies, you got like
every person brings up The Dark Knight.
Like there's so many different things with that just I don't know, don't sit well. And when you talk about superhero movies with DC, you're talking about those. But then when you talk about superhero movies in general, it's always going to be Marvel. I think they have more budget for it. Well, no, don't they have? Didn't they have like very similar budgets?
Pretty much, Warner Brothers were pretty much like, all right, DC, see what Marvel's doing, try and do that with these characters. And then they gave Zack Snyder most of the reins. And I think the biggest problem is that it was also poorly understood and disjointed. When what was nice is that when it was consistently Zack Snyder, like the Man of Steel and then Batman v Superman and then the Snyder Cut of Justice League, it was like you could see there was a vision of a director, of a story going there. And that helped, I think. But the problem is he doesn't understand these characters. To him, the only way to make Batman interesting is to have him killing people left and right.
Yeah.
That's the Punisher. They just made the Punisher.
Yeah.
That's not Batman.
Well, that's the thing, but when did Spider-Man the first one come out?
2002.
Okay, so there's a movie.
Watch this, ready? 2002, 2004, 2007, 2012, 2014, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2023.
Why am I hard right now? But no, that was impressive. Good for you. It's almost like you love Superman or Spider-Man or something.
But yeah, that's me. I'm the Superman guy. Everyone always knows me as a Superman guy.
Yeah, especially because you have a Superman right there.
That's the Grimace egg.
No, that's Superman. Right?
Listen, do you want to get in the topic or not?
Sure.
Okay. The Lantern Corps.
Yes, love them.
Okay. So for this, I will first explain what they are. So obviously, everyone knows Green Lantern. We've talked about Green Lantern already.
Yeah. Green
Green Lanterns are connected to the power of will. In order to be a Green Lantern, you have to have, like, exponential willpower. The more willpower you have, the more powerful you will be, and the more powerful your constructs will be.
Yes.
Now, there obviously is more than just Green Lantern, and each Lantern Corps represents a different emotion for the same purpose. In order to use that ring properly, you have to be connected with that emotion. Red is rage.
Yes.
Orange is avarice or greed. Yellow is fear. Green is willpower. Blue is hope. Indigo is compassion, and violet is love. Now, there are also black and white, which are life and death, respectively, but I will not be covering those in this because those are kind of specialty things. As well as, I do know, as of right now, it's been a minute since I've heard this, and I haven't been keeping up with Green Lantern to know if any further. There's another one based on the light spectrum instead of the emotional spectrum or something of the nature, I think they were building on, it was the Ultraviolet Corps. I know nothing about them. So we also won't be touching that.
Actually, there's another one that you might have not known about. Apparently Google is fairly well of it. It's the gold lantern ring, which is happiness.
Yes, I know nothing about that.
Yeah. I didn't either.
Maybe we'll look into that if that's real.
AI overview is never wrong.
Yes, the Google AI overview.
Yeah.
Anyway, so these lantern rings, like I said, are specifically linked to these emotions. So what I'd like to do today, I've seen some people this is not an uncommon thing, of people taking characters from other stuff and trying to place them into different Lantern Corps. So today, that's what we're going to be doing. I have here a random character generator.
First, let's do this first.
Okay.
Which one do you think you would be?
Oh, I'm absolutely a Blue Lantern. I have... it got knocked over. It's not up there right now, but I have a Blue Lantern ring. I've had one since I was a kid. Blue's my favorite color, which I don't think is related, but blue is linked to hope, and I'd like to think I not only am a very hopeful person, but try my best to inspire hope into others. And so I think that the one I'm the most connected to would be hope, which is blue.
Yeah.
But what about you? What do you think you are?
I'd probably be indigo.
Compassion.
Yeah. I someone looked at me really weird because I don't like killing bugs because that's just, you know.
That's fair. I feel like as far as killing bugs go, I have set this rule for myself where I only really try to do that whenever they invade my space.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm sitting at home and a spider crawl, like if there's a spider in the corner,
Uh-huh.
yeah, cool. You know what? Eat my
Yeah.
bugs, whatever. Go for it. If you come into my area where like you're like on my arm or something like that, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. So I like to try to relocate them first, but there I was at a local shop here that as part of our job we frequent a lot, and at that point there was a jumping spider on one of the kiosks, like where you put your card in, and it was like crawling around, and I asked the cashier, I was like, "Hey, are you afraid of spiders?" Random question because I didn't preface it before. And I was like, well, there's a little jumping spider on this kiosk. And if you give me a paper towel or a piece of paper or anything like that, I'll get it out of here for you. She was like, spider, here's, and then like handed me a piece of paper towel. And I ended up getting it out and then put it into a little flower, like one of those little displays where they have like flowers and stuff.
Yeah.
Put it in one of those because like dude's gonna eat well there.
Yeah.
And she was like, why didn't you just kill it? I was like, because like,
Yeah, that's one of those things. You're right. It's a super easy choice to just not, especially some of the simplest bugs. You're right. You had the power to kill. You
Yeah.
definitely could have killed it.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good answer. That's a great answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
So now with a lot-
but I do mercilessly kill house centipedes because my girlfriend hates them and I need to protect her.
That's valid.
Yeah.
You ready for our first batch that we're gonna roll here for?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Lisa Simpson.
Yes, Lisa Simpson.
What do we think about Lisa Simpson? Let's say, okay, so Lisa Simpson is known to be smart.
Okay.
I would say she's pretty
She
caring.
also
She's
chokes the
compassionate.
shit out of her brother.
No, that's Homer. Homer chokes the
Oh
shit
yeah,
out of
that's
Bart.
fair. Yeah, I haven't watched The Simpsons in a while.
Me either.
She's creative. She plays the saxophone.
She is very creative, yeah. She's like I said, there's a lot of also like she's very compassionate. I think Lisa would probably be compassionate. The only other one that I really think might be a big one for her would maybe be Love, but I don't see Love as much as I see compassion.
I would say Indigo.
There we
Indigo.
go. Indigo.
Core. Homie. Be my little homie in an Indigo core.
Here's an easy one.
The Grinch.
The Grinch.
Yeah, we definitely put him in Greed.
Well, hold on, because that'd be easy, but he doesn't steal Christmas because he like wants the stuff. He steals it because he doesn't like Christmas. He's full of hate.
Yeah, but he wants to take it from people. He's greedy.
But not for his own benefit because he doesn't want them to have it. I would argue he'd be a Red Lantern. He's not
anger.
He's not
rage.
He doesn't like Christmas. He hates Christmas.
That's fair.
Fair point though. Like anger and hatred aren't the same thing, but
Yeah.
if they're gonna equate to something in the Lantern Corps, it would probably be rage.
That's fair. That's a good point.
Listen,
I'll
I
concede
think,
to that.
I think greed is more so, he's doing it for selfish reasons. Like he's
More
definitely
of
doing
like
a
a
selfish
corporation
thing.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Like he's definitely doing a selfish thing, but he's not doing it because he's like, I want Christmas to myself. He's doing it because he doesn't want anybody else to have it.
Yeah, which could also be a greedy thought, where it's like, if I can't have it, no one can.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go Pikachu.
Pikachu.
He's definitely gonna be in the yellow.
Fear?
Yeah.
You think he instills great fear?
Yeah.
You think people are terrified of the electric mouse
I
Pokemon
am.
Pikachu?
I am. Yeah.
Let's unpack this. Welcome to your therapy session.
He killed Ash the first episode. All of
You're
it.
one of those people.
All of it. You're one of those people. No, this is completely sad. He's definitely in happiness.
Wait, listen, I'm not including no Gold Lantern. I don't know nothing about no Gold Lantern.
It's Gold Lantern course. It is canon here. It is on my list.
So are White and Black. I'm not including those either.
Oh, what? We're not including Ultraviolet?
No, those aren't part of the emotional color spectrum. Bro was not listening when I gave the
He's Violet then.
You're Violet.
Yeah, he's definitely violent because he loves
He's
Ash. Yeah.
I can see that. I'll concede
It's like
that.
a dog. You know, dogs. I automatically think dog is going to be love because, you know.
You're right. I think a lot of the ones like that are definitely more so either love or compassion.
Yeah. Okay.
What about C-3PO from Star Wars?
Boy. Blue all the way.
You think C-3PO inspires hope?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this again. You think C-3PO inspires hope?
He's definitely fear.
You think he instills fear? You think C-3PO shows up, people are like, oh god, it's the robot.
He has fear. What would that be?
That's a good point.
He's very fearful.
He is very. I wouldn't even say he's fearful. Cautious for sure. You know, I think the thing is he's very analytical. That's what makes him such a good foil to R2D2. Who he's a little more like Crash. I would say R2D2 would be probably Hope. But C-3PO, like I feel like he's more like he's not necessarily scared. He's more just like he's thinking everything through. He's like, oh, get in the escape pod. Well, we could die if we get in that escape pod. Dude, we could get blown up. I wouldn't say that's like fear. It's more like let's look at this logically.
So what emotion would you throw that into?
Right, logic is not an emotion.
Yeah. Maybe green. Because maybe achieving green. Goals, overcoming obstacles.
It probably would be green because, like I said, even though he's very analytical, he sees all the stuff that's wrong. Even in the Millennium Falcon, he's like, the odds of survival are this. He's not scared. He's like, he's stating fact, but he does all of it anyway. Even I think you're right. I think it would be willpower. I think Green Lantern. I think C-3PO is a Green Lantern.
Yeah, awesome.
How about Pluto the dog from Mickey Mouse? Love. Yeah, we did already settle it. A lot of these dogs
Violet.
are probably
It's going to be
love.
Violet Core.
What do you know about Speed Racer? I know next to nothing. I think I watched the 2009 live action movie, but I don't remember anything.
I don't
from
remember
it.
too much about him other than it was like, ha ha ha. Little
so
bits.
you know he's an anime character.
Yeah. Just know the ha ha. Like there was a lot of parodies around that style of animation and like how they went through with like audioing it.
Sounds like they just recorded Link from The Legend of Zelda.
Ha 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 ha. Probably willpower.
Yeah, probably that or
or
Hope,
blue.
maybe.
Yeah, blue.
But
for sure.
I don't know enough about him to give a definitive.
I would say blue more so than willpower because I imagine he would instill hope into those around him as he's winning the races.
Hell yeah, just like Lightning McQueen.
Ka-chow!
I think Lightning McQueen would be Green Lantern though. He's like the great example of like overcoming, like getting lost in Radiator Springs and then, you know, learning and taking the time out of this stuff. Like Lightning McQueen's definitely a Green Lantern, I think.
Yeah.
We need more evil people. This is too easy. I said evil and it showed up right there. Goofy.
Gorsh.
Oh man, I think Goofy would be compassion.
No,
I think
he's definitely yellow.
You think Goofy inspires great fear?
Yeah, he scares the fuck out of me.
It reminds me of the. So
hot
you're
dog,
saying
hot diggity dog.
He killed 12 kids. I'll do it again.
I'll do it again. Gorsh. Yeah. No.
Finn the Human. How familiar are you with Adventure Time?
I've never watched it.
I've never not watched it. Oh no, wait, hold on.
But-
I have seen like little bits of it. I've not seen all of Adventure Time. I've seen a couple of episodes. Adventure Time is one of those things where I feel like I definitely would like it, but I could never bring myself to just sit and watch it.
It was one of my brother's favorite cartoons, and he's like his 40s.
Was he ever seen Ben 10?
I think it was after his time.
What, Ben 10?
Yeah.
Ben 10 came out in 2005. Adventure Time came out in 2010.
Yeah, I know.
All right then.
It was in that weird gap of time where he was like too old for it, and then he had his resurgence.
That's what I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok being like, your 20s are for finding out that the shit you like when you were a kid is actually awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, I wasn't aware people were getting out of it. Here I am. I'm 20 years old, and I have not stopped listening to Big Time Rush. I never stopped watching Ben 10. I never stopped being into Spider-Man. Like, a lot of the interest I had when I was like 5, 6, 7, I still have.
Then again, you're barely an adult.
True. I'm freshly, well, not freshly 20. I turned 21 in a couple months, but
Yeah.
I'm
sorry. What was the exact day?
July 31st.
The date and birth, and then the social security
Oh,
number.
it's July 31st, 2004. My social security number is 0118999.
8675309. Do you know whose number that is?
Wasn't that her actual number or something?
No.
Didn't he change like one digit?
No, I don't know.
Oh,
that
you
number.
asked? Oh,
Yeah.
you asking me like
Yeah.
if I knew?
Yeah.
I don't. I think that it was the woman's actual phone number.
Jenny.
Finn the human from Adventure Time. I think that he would either be green or blue, which is super easy.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike me as somebody who's
we need to use the gold. We need to use the indigo violet. We need to use the.
We need
white
more
and the
evil
black.
people. We need people who are more and like ambiguous.
But that would just be
someone like
greed or anger.
you're
you know?
angry.
I am angry right now.
Sorry.
Because things are going on outside. They're calmed down though. I think they're going home.
What about Obi-Wan Kenobi? Another Star Wars one.
Oh, I don't know much about them.
You said. Well, I was gonna say you said you've seen the original trilogy, but he's I guess only properly in one of those movies. I think that Obi-Wan, he's very smart, cunning.
Yep.
You know, he's.
Also, not emotions.
I know that's the hard part. Is a lot of this stuff is like what do you think? Because I think this is a real
Hope.
tricky one because
Blue.
probably, but
Yeah.
but Jedi aren't
his
really supposed to
lightsaber.
be super connected to their emotions because it can draw fear, and fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Yep.
It's the dark side.
Uh-huh.
So
Bleeding them crystals, man.
yeah. So I feel like Obi-Wan's a kind of a tricky one where it's like, yeah, hope would be the easy choice, but does he feel hope? Does he inspire hope? Maybe inspire hope.
Yeah.
He's a Jedi.
Yeah.
Especially in the time period where like Order 66 happened and people are afraid of the Empire. Maybe.
Yeah.
But he's also a hermit, so people don't see him. He's not out there inspiring hope. Maybe, like I said, maybe when he's out there as a Jedi Knight or Jedi Master during like the prequels, but like not during his time on Tatooine.
Fair. Was he in the New Hope?
He wasn't a New Hope.
Oh,
He's
fair.
old Ben Kenobi.
Yep. Blue.
Oh, piss off. You know what? This is one of these ones. I have one.
Yeah.
What about Garfield?
Garfield?
Yeah, the cat.
Agreed. Orange for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just like every other cat in existence.
Yeah. Greedy as hell.
What do you know about the Silver Surfer?
They gender changed him in the new movie.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't know enough about the Silver Surfer to know how accurate that is. Because yes, the Silver Surfer in the new movie is a woman. I have been since told that there is a woman Silver Surfer in the comics.
That's awesome.
I don't know if this is that woman Silver Surfer. If they did just gender swap the original Silver Surfer or like what the deal is there. I do know that I have no issue with watching a basically naked silver lady on my screen, so
Same.
I have no issue with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I want to be clear with that. I just that's the extent.
That's what you know.
That's the extent.
all you know about the.
I mean, I
Have you
watched
never
the
seen-
regular Fantastic Four.
I was gonna
but,
say,
like,
if you ever seen Fantastic Four: Rise of the
but
Silver
that
Surfer?
was just like there was a mystery of it. Like it wasn't a full explanation of what the Silver Surfer was, unless I didn't
Here-
watch the same movie.
Here is my understanding of the Silver Surfer. And this may not be fully accurate because I'm not the biggest Silver Surfer fan, but to my knowledge, so he's the Herald of Galactus, right? And
Okay.
basically what that means is he's been given a fraction of the power cosmic, which is what Galactus has, which allows him to, travel to these planets and then freaking eat them.
Nom nom.
And as the Herald of Galactus, he has to travel from planet to planet, finding something suitable for Galactus to eat.
Okay, so he's just like a fetch boy.
Pretty much. But the reason he's a fetch boy, as you put it, is because his planet was marked to be eaten. And the way that he protected his planet is by becoming the Herald of Galactus. So he's like dooming these other planets in order to protect his own.
Oh, so he's like, not this one, not this one. I'm gonna go find you other ones.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wish I knew more about the Silver Surfer because I know that there are a lot of people who like he's their favorite hero. Like a lot of people really like the Silver Surfer. I know there's a lot more to him than that, but that's about the extent of my knowledge on the Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Ash Ketchum.
I think Ash Ketchum is undoubtedly a Green Lantern.
Oh yeah.
The opening to the very first song, I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Dun, dun,
I've never
dun.
seen a fictional character, well, not never, but there's not a lot of fictional characters that are filled with as much determination and grit as Ash Ketchum.
Yeah, he's also the same age throughout all of it.
Yeah, so think about that too. He's accomplished more as 10 years old than I have in the last 20 years.
Yeah, and also he was killed in the first episode by Pikachu.
I am going to slap the taste out of your mouth.
That's the only way it could be that he stays the same age. It's all a fever.
Here's an idea. It's a flippin' cartoon.
Yeah, talk about that with your cartoon comic books. It's just a comic book.
Do you know
It's just a
why
comic book.
Spider-Man always gets regressed back to a teenager? Do you know?
It's just a comic book. Just a comic book.
That's exactly
Comic
why.
book.
That's
Comic book.
exactly why.
All right, Olaf. What do we got?
Olaf.
What
Oh,
is
he's definitely love. He's definitely
just
a
a lovable
violent man.
idiot.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like me.
Yeah,
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy. Well, if you're talking about Ren, which is the
Angry one.
angry one,
He's
Greed.
definitely.
Greed.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say Rage, but no, I think you're right. I think he would be an Orange Lantern.
Yeah, I would say he's more Orange Lantern than Red, but I would say probably Stimpy would be Love
Yeah. That would
or
make sense.
Indigo. I mean, he's definitely Violet.
I don't
Indigo.
really see him as much compassionate as I see like love.
Yeah.
For their owner? Question.
You ever
It's been a while
watched?
since I've seen Ren and Stimpy.
You ever watched the
Have you
cart?
ever seen Ren and Stimpy's Adult Block Party?
I've seen so much parodies of old episodes that are like, homie had a saw strapped to his waist.
Yep, that was the Adult Block Party.
Yeah.
Do you know about the Adult Block
No.
Party?
No.
So, Ren and Stimpy got so popular because they kind of pushed the limit of what you could show on a kids show.
Yeah.
That once Ren and Stimpy got canceled, they revised it as Ren and Stimpy's Adult Block Party. And it only ran for I think like 10 episodes because they took that and ran with it. Like it was vulgar, it was inappropriate, it was like violent.
What it was like a you want to see us be inappropriate. Now we're inappropriate.
Yeah, it's like they pushed the limit for like a kids show, and they were given the permission to do it as an adult show, and then they pushed the limit for an adult show.
Yeah.
No one wanted to see that because I said a lot of people knew these characters as kids show characters. So whenever they're pulling out strap-ons with saws, it's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
So no one liked it, no one watched it.
But then again, there was a lot of cartoons in that time frame that were like pushing the edge of what was like acceptable for a kids show. I mean, Invader Zim for one aspect. Like Invader Zim, watching it back now versus watching it whenever I was younger. I mean, it's crazy. I think there was an episode where they had
harvest the organs.
Harvest or like there was one that like I think it was either a cafeteria or a restaurant, and like one guy was like walking into the back room, and as he was walking into the back room,
took a kid.
he just snatched a kid.
Yeah.
Like that was a kid's show.
Yeah. That's what you get for watching Invader Zim.
And then like the actual comic book of Invader Zim, Gurr, whenever his eyes turned red, he would kill people.
Is this an Invader Zim comic book?
Yeah. I think it was off of a comic book. I'm gonna fact check myself real quick. It's a comic. Yeah, it was a comic book series. Author by Jonan Vasquez.
I don't think that there was anything. Yeah, I think that comic probably came out after, because I don't think Invader Zim is based on anything.
Invader Zim TV show from 30th 2001 to 2003, and then the comics books came out in 2015. So I was wrong.
Invader Zim's awesome though.
Invader Zim is wonderful.
I'm gonna sing the Doom song now. I cannot describe it, but you look like a mushroom right now. All right, you know what? I think we've locked it. You know, we knocked it out of the park. We killed it.
Sure did.
I think that now it's time to talk about our challenges. No.
What?
Thanks again to Michael last episode. Mike.
Yeah.
I keep calling him Michael. I think he prefers to be called Mike. I
Mike.
think he was introduced to me as Michael.
Yeah.
And in my head, he's just Michael.
Yeah.
But every time he's ever referred to himself, he said Mike.
Yeah.
I think I'm calling him by the wrong name.
I think Michael is more of a youthful name, and then Mike is just like that.
I feel the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, Mike is a nickname you give your buddy when you're a kid, and then Michael is what you call him when he's an adult.
I disagree.
Well, either way, Mike
Yep.
gave us the challenge to read the first trade of the original run of Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You are itching to talk about this, so I'm gonna go first.
You're itching to talk about this? You're gonna wait a little bit longer.
Yeah. So I was familiar with dude, I cannot get these adjectives right. Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But this is another one of those ones where a lot of my knowledge of Superior Spider-Man came from stuff I'd read with him in it.
Yeah.
Not specifically Superior Spider-Man stories. I was right actually. I got it first try. The trade I have that I already had was trade number 6, which I think is the last one. So if I bought number 1 for this challenge.
Yeah.
So I'm only missing 4 books now, so I might get the whole set for spectacular for. Oh my good
Superior
gravy.
Spider-Man.
Superior Spider-Man.
You know what you need to do? You need to edit in Superior Spider-Man
Just
and like
correct myself.
No. But in the most obvious way. It needs to be like
Superior.
Yeah, like that. And then just like cut that in for some of those moments.
Hell yeah. I thought it was really good. I think it was super interesting watching him, try to take over not just Spider-Man's life, but also Peter Parker's life, and then essentially min-max the both of them.
Yeah. I mean, if you're done,
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
I really enjoyed Superior Spider-Man.
So I've heard.
It's probably up to date. I haven't really dove into Spider-Man other than the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Other than you haven't seen any of the shows or anything either? Played any of the
No.
games?
No, I've not. So my knowledge of Spider-Man is not that deep, but I've enjoyed him as a superhero, and diving into one of the renditions, and as of right now, it's probably my favorite, just because
favorite version of Spider-Man, or like favorite comic, or what do you?
Favorite version of Spider-Man I've
Okay.
read as of right now. Obviously, I don't have that much. Like, I've watched the movies, I've watched Into the Spider-Verse, so I have like Miles Morales. I'm not a big fan of Miles Morales.
Miles is just rough. I think he's so recent of a character that
Yeah.
they haven't quite figured out what a good
Right.
baseline is for him.
I think he was lost in the translation of a bigger message that was the Spider-Verse. Like, the story wasn't
You
about
mean the movies?
Yeah.
I disagree. I think they balanced those really well. Where the reason that those movies worked so well is because even though it was a big cast of characters coming together, it was about Miles. It was Miles' journey to becoming Spider-Man, and there happened to be other Spider people there.
Agree to disagree.
Okay, fair enough.
But I think that the Superior Spider-Man, is my favorite rendition of Spider-Man as of yet, because of like all of the, I would say, the tropes that go into what makes Superior Spider-Man superior, as it would be. There's so much internal battle going on there with like Octavius dying. He's dying. He swapped places, and it was like
He's trying to convince himself that he's capable of more. Like his
Right.
his Otto Octavius's greatest achievement to him is swapping bodies with Spider-Man.
right.
And so he's trying to prove to himself now as Spider-Man that he's capable of more than that. He can be more than that. You know?
I mean, he breaks down like what Spider-Man does and like all of the flaws that this kid does. And I mean, I think that there's definitely a big perspective on like the maturity that Otto Octavius brings to what would be a young superhero, where he's able to, take away a lot of those stupid kid kind of mistakes that everyone really makes.
Yeah.
Mismanaging of time and doing those things with a lot of emotion. And then like obviously there was that huge battle with like losing Gwen Stacy, so he needed to be able to have that, these big moments that Spider-Man went through that Octavius didn't, that basically helps Peter work through his superpowers.
But the thing is, though, is that Otto has all of Peter's memories. So like the part we were talking about earlier, whenever he finds out that Peter Parker's not a doctor, he's like, hold on, accessing memories.
Yeah,
like he actually like, goes through and like looks through almost like an archive of all the stuff that Peter knows and has been through. So it's like I don't think that's necessarily that he doesn't know about that stuff or he hasn't experienced it, because while being in Peter's body, I think that he kind of has experienced it.
I understand that having a memory of something and experiencing it in the moment are two different things.
True.
You know, you could give me a video of something that you did, and technically I have a visualization of that moment, but I wasn't there. I wasn't like
you weren't
living
you didn't feel it. Yeah,
didn't feel it. So I think that the memory versus experience falls apart a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he didn't actually live through it. He has the memory of it, which is a little bit different to me.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I agree.
kind of like taking back to the message I was talking about before, where Octavius gives a little bit more of a perspective on someone older doing those things and finding out what matters to him. Obviously, that I could do this better. You know, these are the things that I can do, so that like Peter was having a hard time with like balancing life and going on patrols and this, that, or the other. Dude just creates
Spider bots.
Spider-Bots.
Something I thought was really cool I didn't notice before is that the spider bots that they use in Superior Spider-Man are the model that they use in the Spider-Man PS4 video game.
Which is awesome.
They changed it for the second game, but the spider bot that you control in Spider-Man PS4 is the same design that's in this comic.
Which is awesome. But like to think about like those things that matter most to people who don't have a lot of time left versus, you know, someone who's like, "Oh, I'm in my, you know, whatever age he is at that point."
I think Peter's like late 20s in this story.
So like late 20s versus someone who's much older, as Octavius is. Obviously you value time more. So making those streamlined things like the spider bots and being able to do his doctorate.
I think the other big thing too is the fact that Peter, like, Otto's a genius.
Yeah.
Absolutely, without a doubt. But so is Peter. And I feel like maybe not, it's hard to say for sure what the degree is. Maybe they're on similar patterns, whatever. But the biggest thing is that Peter second guesses himself to a fault. That like, even if to say that maybe he's as smart as Otto Octavius, like, he would never allow himself to be as smart as Otto Octavius.
Yeah, because like the confidence is a big portion of that. You know, you could be, you know, that's the thing. The people who have the most confidence are typically in the room, are the loudest, and they have the least amount of ideas about a specific topic. People who have a lot of knowledge about something typically are pretty quiet about it. But those who are wrong are going to yell in your face that they're wrong.
I don't necessarily know that I would agree with that, because how often have you heard me talk about Invincible?
You're wrong about it.
No.
But you're not yelling at it. Well, no, you are. You know, an outlier is not the specific rule. Okay, you're just.
I just have ADHD. I can't shut up if I tried.
Exactly. And I think a lot of that was because you got excited about it, but then you got even more excited about it that I started reading into it.
Yeah, because it was someone else I could talk to about it. You know, I could rant your ear. I've done it to Argenti.
Yeah.
I could go on and on and on and on about Invincible, but if you don't know about it, there's a wall you'll hit eventually. You know, it's like I could be like, "Do you know who Battle Beast is?" No. Okay, do you know who Powerplex is? No. Okay. Well, here's why the Invincible joke is funny.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, you can keep going, but it's like, you know, when you have someone to bounce off of you, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Which is part of the reason I like the whole consciousness thing with Peter a lot, even though Otto can't bounce off of Peter. It's more like Peter is almost a, because he's buried in Otto's consciousness. So like
the subconscious.
Yeah. So like Otto can feel him. He can feel Peter's input, but he doesn't. Hold on.
What?
He doesn't know he's there. He doesn't hear those thoughts or whatever that Peter's having. I just think it's really interesting watching like Otto's morality change. You know, especially I really like the confrontation he has with the Vulture, where it's like there was a point in time where they were on the Sinister Six together, and it was like, yeah, we're geniuses, we're smart men, we know what we're doing what's right. And then now as Spider-Man, he comes to confront Toomes, and he's like, Spider-Man, you a bitch. And I was like, dude, I'll give you what you want, like, if you stop. Like, nah, Spider-Man, you a bitch. And then he's like, it smacks this kid, and he's like, you're using children as your minions?
Yeah.
Hey, Vulture, you a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the hell trope with it, and like, you know, I think that's, and we'll talk about Invincible again a little bit, because I think they did it very well when it comes down to Oliver and Mark's battle back and forth with morality and killing villains.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's one thing that like they really did well. We're talking about like how you can't repeat offend if you're dead. You know,
Fact.
you know, so like there's definitely a huge conversation within that about like just superheroes and their duty, because Peter he mostly was like, this is the role of a superhero, like
we're not judge, jury, executioner.
right, we
Unless
put
you're
him in
Castle.
we put him in the jail, and if they come out again, then we deal with it then. That's just what heroes do.
Yeah.
While Octavius is like, well,
I'm gonna deal with this.
I'm gonna deal with it.
Bam.
Pow.
Didn't he shoot a guy?
He shot what's his name?
Oh no.
He shot
It was like massacre.
So he killed. Well, and then that's like the whole. Spud, what are you doing? He hit him in the shoulder.
Did he?
Yeah.
Point is, he shot a guy.
Yeah,
Still.
he shot a guy,
Spider-Man.
which
wouldn't
is
do that.
weird. Like, you have Spider-Man powers. Why use gun?
Yeah, you could just web his mouth and then he can't breathe. Web his mouth and his nose and his eyes.
Yep.
And his ears.
And then create underwear.
And then head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Knees and toes. Knees and toes.
How do you feel about the Superior Spider-Man suit?
It's weird choice going more glass shape with the eyes.
They're more like buggy. What about his toes? Have you seen his feet? His big toe is separate from the rest of them.
Yeah, more like a ninja.
This is not his typical suit. This is the first one he gets the classic suit. He gets another one later.
Which I like. I like the idea of like those spider legs on the back.
Like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it makes so much sense because like Peter has had it a couple different times, like the Iron Spider stuff like that. And Otto Octavius is obviously known for having 4 extra prongs coming out of his back, so it's like he's not like he's not trained with them.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, he doesn't get them in the point that we're at. I
Right.
thought it'd be interesting to show you this is like when you think Superior Spider-Man, this is the suit that you think of.
I think that's whenever I looked them up. That's what I got was the legs on the back,
Yeah.
which I thought was cool because like that it's very close to the Iron Man Spider-Man suit, right? With like the
Yeah, Iron Spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
look at
Yeah,
Look
you're
at-
getting there. You're getting a little
look
bit
at-
knowledgeable
look
on
at me.
Spider-Man. Look at you go.
oh
Anyway,
oh okay.
I think that pretty much includes it. You sounded like you like it a lot. You told me
Yeah.
you're gonna pick this up. You can keep reading it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep reading it for sure.
Cool.
Whether it's a challenge or on my own, I think that I'm probably gonna do it on my own.
Well, as far as my challenge to you, as far as reading goes,
Yeah.
I am torn. I had something specific that I was gonna give you for your next challenge.
Okay.
And then I decided against it because it's a Spider-Man story, and we just did a Spider-Man one because of Mike. So I have 3 different ideas in my head for a comic to give you.
Okay. Number
And-
2.
Well, I haven't picked yet which one's which. Hold on.
Okay.
Don't pick. Hold
Number
on.
3.
Oh, stop it! Wait, stop!
What?
Stop!
Number 2. Number 2.
Stop, I'm
What,
gonna
number
pee
1?
on you. Stop.
Oh, number 1. Number 2. Number 1.
Okay, pick a number between 1 and 3.
This is too much pressure.
1 through 3. Pick a number.
6.
Raw. Try again.
The lid.
Brother.
One.
Brother. 1?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to now reveal it to you. I specifically bought a comic for your next story for Spider-Man because I was trying to think like what would be a good essential Spider-Man story to start you off with. So I bought the first Spider-Man story.
Oh shit. The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes, this is the Mighty Marvel Masterworks Amazing Spider-Man. This collects the first 12, I think. 10. It collects the first 10 issues of the original Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
the Amazing Spider-Man comic series from 1962.
Oh, okay, cool.
With Amazing Fantasy number 15 in the beginning, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man.
Mhm.
This is not what you're getting.
Oh, what? There was all of that.
That was the one I got specifically for you as like the Spider-Man story. The other one I was thinking about giving you.
It's
last
not. You're
time
not
we
gonna
had
give me
talked.
this one either.
Last time we had
I already
talked,
know the game.
you were going off about how awesome you thought Sentry was, right?
Yeah, I love Sentry. This is one I'm also not getting.
So I bought. Turns out Siege is what we were talking about last time, not Dark Reign. Dark Reign might be a different story, but Siege is where they attack Asgard. And I was flipping through trying to find a book with Sentry in it, and I was
I
like,
saw him right there.
"Well, hold on." I was like, "This is cool." I was kind of trying to figure out like what would be a good one to grab. Like I needed a Sentry book. As I'm flipping through this one, I saw this.
Hell yeah.
So this is Sentry ripping a man in half, and there's gore everywhere.
Yeah.
Which for a Marvel comic is insane. And I saw this, and I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely gonna pick this up for Derek to read at some point."
Yeah.
This is not what you're getting.
Yeah, I know. I already called that. You
So
you
number
overplayed
2
it.
in my head of the options to pick was the other thing I got that was actually funny enough.
I picked one.
Yeah, I know.
You said 2.
My mistake. I know. This bit's gone on so long. I forgot the numbers, but I promise you, I'm doing this how I intended it. Ultimate Spider-Man, the new one.
This is also not the one I'm giving.
No, this is the one I'm giving you. This one I just bought on Thursday just because I wanted it and I thought it would be nice, and I read it all in one sitting.
This is Peter Parker, isn't it?
This is Peter Parker, yes. So the new, I've told you this before, and I kind of wanted to give you the new Ultimate series after I'd given you at least the first trade of the original Ultimate series.
Okay.
But that's not what's gonna happen. You're gonna read this one first because this is coming out right now. I think there's another trade out already right now, but there's just 2. I think it's
Okay.
we're maybe on issue like 13 or 14 of this series. But this is currently coming out. So the Ultimate Universe, I think I've told you this before, was created back in like the 2000s. It was like it was supposed to go on coherently, like coincide with 616, right?
Yeah, it was a different universe where they could basically correct a lot of the mistakes that they did with one universe.
I wouldn't say that. It's just a separate thing where they could do their own thing, have its own separate continuity. Because correct is not the right term. There is an incestuous relationship between Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in that universe. So I will not ever say
that was the wrong
Ultimate
one.
is the correction course because it's not that at all.
Yeah.
But no, it was really cool. It was kind of like a newer take of like an updated, that's where a lot of the leather outfits usually from like the X-Men come from. A lot of the like modern personality of Peter being a little bit more like a dick almost kind of comes from the Ultimate Spider-Man series.
Okay.
A lot of really good stuff, mainly Ultimate Spider-Man, but there's a lot of other really good stuff that comes from Ultimate
I know
Universe.
that Michael will talk to me about like the universe issue where he had like a little bit of an explanation where like they dug themselves, like I wouldn't say they dug themselves, they went so far in one direction they had to create another universe where they could do extra stuff.
I'm not entirely sure what
separate.
the story is when it comes to the creation of the Ultimate Universe. I just know the purpose of it was to be a fresh new continuity.
Is 616 the original?
Yes. Okay. When talking about universe designations, 616 is the main continuity Marvel.
And is Peter in that one married and older?
I don't know right now because they change it all the time.
Because I know that was one of the things they were like trying to do is like obviously make them single again.
So in the Ultimate series, Peter is a teenager in the original one.
Yeah.
But that's the point though. With this one, he's not.
Okay.
The Ultimate series ended in I think 2015.
Okay.
The original Ultimate Spider-Man ran from like 2000 to like 2011, I think. With the death of Peter Parker. Peter Parker actually dies in the Ultimate Comics.
Okay.
And his mantle's taken up by Miles Morales. That's where Miles Morales was introduced originally in the Ultimate Comics.
Okay.
It was a mantle thing. And then there was the event Secret Wars, where there's an incursion, and 616 and 1610, which is the Ultimate Universe, have to fight for like who's gonna survive. And basically all of 1610 gets wiped, except for Miles because he gives the Maker a cheeseburger. Or not Maker, Molecule Man or whatever. But the Maker somehow survives. The Maker is an evil version of Reed Richards.
Okay.
Right? And the Maker recreates 1610, but as 6160. So it's 6160.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is 6160. This is the new Ultimate Universe.
Okay.
And part
it's
of
like New Game Plus.
Kind of, but under the Maker's vision. The Maker was like, I'm going to remake the universe, and I'm going to do it in my image. And so Peter Parker did not get bit by a radioactive spider when he was 15 years old. Peter Parker was given a radioactive spider. Said spider, weird spider.
Spider.
He was given a radioactive spider by a young Tony Stark, who's significantly younger than Peter in this.
Okay.
He goes by Iron Lad, not Iron Man. Because he is course correcting. He is going through and he is creating all these heroes that were meant to be created and weren't because of the maker. And so at the age of 35, Peter Parker gets bitten by the radioactive spider. He is married to Mary Jane and has 2 kids.
Okay.
Norman Osborn is dead. Aunt May is dead. Uncle Ben is alive.
Yeah, Uncle Ben.
That's what I'll tell you. This,
Okay.
I said I literally read all 6 issues of this in a single sitting. This is so good. This is so good. And remember we were talking about last episode with Michael about Jonathan Hickman. Jonathan Hickman writes this. This is a Hickman book. You see down there.
Yep.
So there, Ultimate Spider-Man 2024 #1. Well, volume 1, I should say.
Hell yeah. So yours is not gonna be as crazy.
Oh,
You had a huge explanation of yours.
sorry.
I am basically just gonna give you My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
How
much have you seen it or
I
anything? like
have
that?
seen it.
Okay.
My Hero Academia was one of the few animes I checked out because I've said before when I watched SAO, I tried to check out something else. I had a friend who was really into anime at the time, and he was like, I asked him, like, "Do you have any other recommendations? Something I could watch?" I kind of liked the style and stuff. I was curious. He's like, "Well, you like superheroes a lot. You should check out My Hero Academia." And I was like, "Okay." And then I watched the first season and thought it was super boring. The pacing was horrible.
It picks up. I want you to give it another try then.
I will for sure, and now I'm a lot more familiar with it, and a lot of time has passed. I'm sure I'll feel different about it, but I just remember thinking the pacing was terrible. I think that was it. Honestly, I think I was pretty invested aside from the fact that nothing happened really.
Yeah, so it picks up a lot, especially with like.
I do remember that there was that big guy with the beak who attacked this school. I think it was the last episode I remember watching.
Yeah, that would have been the where All Might fought like the Noma.
Is that his name? He's like a bird dude.
Well,
He had a beak and his brain was exposed.
yeah, that's a Noma. Oh yeah, so 16 turns episode 16 season 2 starts off with Stain attacking again. So did you see who Stain was?
Is he the hand guy?
No, that is Shigaraki.
I don't think I know. Who Stain is.
Shigaraki is actually like the end villain for the series.
Oh wow! And they introduced him in season 1.
He goes through an arc. You'll enjoy him if you continue watching the anime. He has a huge character development from there, and he starts off there as like a minion, and All for One gives him the power.
Oh, interesting.
So a little bit of a spoiler, but either way, he ends up having a huge arc, and his story is actually pretty sad. But episode 16, you get a good bit in here with 5 episodes.
Okay.
I think it'll help with the pacing problem that you had with season 1.
So where am I starting then?
Episode 16. It'd be the first
16.
episode of season 2.
Okay, cool.
That would be where Stain comes in. He's the anti-hero. He kills heroes who aren't worthy because there's a lot of really stupid powers in My Hero Academia. Like there's one dude that just has a squeeze bottle for a head.
Oh.
Yeah, he's just...
Or the ball guy.
The bald guy?
Ball. What's his name? We talked about him before on here, I think. The pervert.
Oh, Minetto.
Minetto, yeah. What does he even do? He has sticky balls on his head?
I have sticky balls.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
They're just not
I
on
can
my
put
head.
my sticky balls on your head.
Yeah.
What?
Wait.
Wait, what? Okay.
Do you think it's time to go?
Yeah, well, I think it's time for Roll for Ending! What is it? 4? 6?
Yeah.
4?
It's a 4.
Yeah.
Now, 4 is NDA, which means we are going to discuss something real quick, very shortly, and not say what it is at all.
It seems like it's pretty easy, especially when the outro has nothing to do with it.
All right, I'm cool with that. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so I think that it's shaped properly.
Yeah.
I think that the glisten that comes from what's around it kind of helps to exaggerate the features.
Do you think it's easier to sit?
Yeah, I'd imagine. I
Yeah.
mean, it seems cushiony.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think he feels weird about it?
absolutely. I feel
Yeah.
like maybe not like having it, but like when people draw attention to it, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, but I feel like if I had one, I would feel very confident.
I would too as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would show it off. To be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, tights for sure.
Oh yeah.
For like, I think that'd be.
Well, maybe not. I have sensory issues. I don't really like having tight clothing on in general. So even though I would have that, I'm not sure I would want.
But that comes with like the front side too. Like,
Yeah, just 'cause
if it's so tight.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Do you think they have like a loose fitting front, tight back?
Yeah, my ex girlfriend.
Oh God! Alrighty, it sounds like we've.
Thank you for listening to the Variety Voiceover Nerdcast. That's all for this week. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. While on YouTube, you can check out Comeback Kid Films for video projects. You can also email us at varietyvoiceoverpod@gmail.com. But as for now, this voice is over. Welcome to the Variety Voiceover, where people are banging on my roof.
Why?
Please
are they
stop
pounding
banging
like
on
that?
my roof, Santa Claus.
But I don't understand.
Santa, I've been a good boy.